Welcome to Health News and Views, a podcast dedicated to bringing some clarity to the health disparities in the Black and Brown communities. If you believe there's a connection between food, sickness, and health, then you're in the right place. Let's begin the process of unraveling the truth. And now, your host, Lynn Pete.
Well, greetings and welcome back to another episode of Health News and Views, Food, the Final Frontier. I am your host, Lynn P. We're coming to the close of the first month of 2026. Seems a lot longer than that. I don't know who needs to hear this, but somewhere between the climate, the politics, the economy, and the extreme weather patterns, it's like the world has a chokehold on our collective peace of mind. In the colder parts of the nation, this is the time we winterize. And some people join gyms, and there's some of us who just enjoy these colder temperatures and may decide to add some fuel to the lingering holiday weight. Of course, we do have explicit plans and strategies for releasing those extra pounds well before the weather breaks into spring. And if you're tired, overwhelmed, emotionally drained, or like you've been holding your breath since New Year's Day, you're not crazy. You're just human. And it's not just the news. It's in our bodies. It's in our sleep. It's in our blood pressure. It's in our cravings. It's even in our nervous system. But before we go on, the subject matter provided in this podcast or any of our other published documents is for informational purposes only. Food, the Final Frontier, and our partner, Health News and Views, we do not attempt to treat, diagnose, or cure any disease or condition. Always check with your healthcare provider before making any lifestyle, dietary, or prescription drug changes. And so today, I'm not here to lecture. I'm not here to browbeat you with a list of do's and don'ts. I'm just here to talk like families talk. A line from the previous episode, this is a fight we did not ask for. We're all in this together, like it or not. And if we're going to stay mentally and physically strong for the months ahead, we're going to need two things: some soul searching and strategic planning. And while it may seem that I have strayed from the program's format of Health News and Views, Food, the Final Frontier, I would be insensitive and derelict in my duties as your host if I didn't address the elephant in the room. Well, I should probably say elephants. Here in the Northeast, it's the weather, it's politics, it's social unrest, and it's more than most of us have encountered in this lifetime. So I'm going to start with the most powerful strategy that I don't want us to underestimate every single day. And of course, I'm going to say it's the food. Yes, I did say it was the food in the previous podcast, but it bears repeating. The world is loud. It appears we have no control over many of the traumas we're experiencing, like the weather and the politics and the social unrest. But food is one of those things you can still control. So let's be real. A lot of us are sitting here watching the world unfold and thinking, I have never seen this before. Storm systems that don't make sense, seasons behaving out of order. Did they say like a cyclone, like a hurricane, a winter Anyway, people are divided to a level that feels dangerous. And stress just sitting on our shoulders. And the thing is, we can't control everything. But what we can control is what we put in our kitchens, what we keep in our cabinets, and what we feed ourselves when we're emotionally exhausted. Food is medicine. Food is mood. And when life feels unstable, the kitchen becomes a place to rebuild steadiness. Not with perfection, not with expensive organic fantasies, but with simple choices to help us feel safe. We don't need perfection. We need peace. And let me say something that might free somebody today. You don't need to become a whole new person to survive a hard season. You don't need to start the year eating like a monk, drinking chlorophyll, and acting like cravings are a sin. No, ma'am. No, sir. Right now we need peace because stress will push you into survival mode. What happens when you're in survival mode? You start to crave sugar, salt, crave processed foods, skip meals, eat too late, and sometimes eat too fast, and most especially, eat emotionally. And then you feel guilty. Who's that serve? But guilt doesn't heal anything. Strategy heals. And the strategy can look like this. I'm going to make eating easier on myself, not harder. And food can be our stability. And we're going to do that with things that we're going to call anchor meals. So here's what I want to introduce today. Let's talk about some anchor meals that you can rely on, especially when everything else is shaky. And these meals are simple, affordable, repeatable, comforting, and actually help your body. Because in unstable times, decision fatigue becomes a real thing. So instead of asking yourself every night, what are we going to eat tonight? You can say, we already know what anchors us. Let me give you some examples. Here's an anchor meal that you can start with tonight. And it could be soup, not fancy, just real soup, a pot that lasts 2 or 3 days. I grew up in a household where when you saw that pot, that's pretty much what it says, and we're going to have this for the next 2 or 3 days until things settle down a bit. And what do you put in there? And I mentioned this also in the previous episode, was beans, lentils, chicken soup, vegetable soup. Soup gives hydration, minerals, warmth, and comfort. How about a one-pan dinner? Protein and veggies, for example. And you can do chicken thighs and frozen broccoli, salmon and green beans, sausages, peppers with onions. How about bowl meals? These are, and they're very popular too, by the way. I oftentimes will go to one of the restaurants to get like a burrito bowl, but I never have a burrito in there. But I just like the fact that there's a bowl. Anyway, they have grains and greens in it, or protein, or something colorful. Rice, beans, and avocado. Greens, tuna, boiled eggs, quinoa, roasted veggies. Anchor meals help the nervous system because they reduce chaos. Your brain calms down when it knows we have food and we have a plan. Well, this is the part, and I want to talk about something deeper for a moment. When the world gets ugly, loud, and unstable, your health becomes an act of resistance because exhaustion makes people easier to control. Malnutrition makes people easier to manipulate, and stress and makes people reactive instead of thoughtful. But when you are well fed, hydrated, rested, you can think, you can plan, and you can make better decisions. So no, this isn't about vanity. This isn't about a beach body. Not now. This is about staying strong enough to keep your home stable, protect your peace, show up for your family, and live through the next season with dignity. So we talked a little bit about community food in our last episode. But just as a reminder, a warm meal is a form of caring that doesn't require a debate. I see you, I got you, we're going to make it through. No preached survival grocery list, pretty much like it was in the previous episode. Make sure you have beans, canned or dry, rice or oats, eggs, frozen veggies, onions, garlic, canned tuna, salmon, sweet potatoes, bananas or apples, plain yogurt, broth or bouillon. And that's not a diet. That's just a survival toolkit. And you can mix and match that up however you want. As we move deeper into this year, I just want to say this very plainly. If you're worried, you're not alone. If you feel uncertain, you're not weak. If you're tired, you're not broken. This year is asking something different from all of us, and we're going to respond with calm, strategy, community, and a steady nourishment. Because whether we like it or not, as I said before, we're in this together. So until the next time, be kind to your body, feed yourself with love, and keep your peace protected. Thanks for stopping by to Health News and Views Food, the Final Frontier. Do come back. If any of this information resonated with you, please share it with someone that you love. And don't forget to be a blessing to someone out there. Peace.